Ladies and gentlemen, this is Hollywood Joe from Hollywood's World of Sports, coming to you tonight with a special interview from one of the fastest rising stars on the independent wrestling scene, Karam. How you doing, Karam?
Good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. So, what's 2020 been like for you, man? I know it's been kind of struggle on the pro wrestling scene, and just kind of wanted to get your take.
Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of doing what we can with limited seating, and obviously it's not as busy, but luckily I'm in AAW, so still getting a lot of exposure through that, and really just kind of doing shows here and there, following what they're allowed to do.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
just kind of a lot of uncertainty, and we're just kind of going with the flow.
So I kind of want to go back to the beginning here. What are some of your first memories of pro wrestling, and what made you want to get into it?
So I'm young. I'm 24 years old. So the first match I actually remember watching, the first one was I think it was Triple H and Cactus Jack in the was it cage match or Hell in a Cell, and
Yeah.
then Royal Rumble 2000,
Yep.
right?
Both great. Yep. Both great
Yeah,
matches.
that was the first one I remember vividly watching the first time, and I wanted to be Triple H.
Okay,
So
I can. You know what? I
yeah,
can understand. I'm kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum. So I was a huge Cactus Jack fan.
right.
I
And I
remember.
liked him too, but I really liked Triple H.
Yeah, yeah. And so, like, how did you find out about training and who trained you and whatnot?
So I come from a theater background growing up, and
Okay.
a powerlifting background being a wrestling fan. So I did about 8 years of theater on stage, and I competed competitively in powerlifting. And when I got older, growing up, I never said I wanted to be a wrestler. But when I got older, I think I was about 21. I bought the WWE Network for
Yeah.
$9.99 a month.
Yep. Yep.
uh, and and then I saw it. I was like, oh, well, this is I can do this. This is what I'm. It's both of my worlds combined into
Yeah.
one. So, and luckily I did it. I think I'm doing a pretty good job so far.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it started. That's what got me into it. So I started a little bit at a place called PPW.
Yep.
And I didn't really train too much there. They kind of just, I was there for 4 days, and then they were just like, oh, well, here, you look sweet, so you're gonna wrestle for a week at a fair. So yeah, I was like, okay, sweet. I do two things. I do a clothesline, a body slam, and a side slam, and that's all I do. And
Yeah.
I just
Yep.
followed directions, and I did that. I don't recommend that for anybody. So I wanted to seek out more training because I didn't feel like I was properly trained. I met Jake something. He really took me under his wing, and I started doing some stuff at Can-Am here and there. But so I would say my trainer is Jake, and I go once in a while and work with Bravo to
Yeah.
kind of, stuff like that. I worked a little bit with Nate Matson at Can-Am as well, but it
Yep.
was really Jake that really took me under his wing and, really helped me grow.
So, speaking of Jake, anyone that follows you on social media knows that you, Jake something, Hakeem Zayn, Xavier Walker, all pretty tight, pretty much run together.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, those are my family, man. That's my
what
family.
what have they meant to you? Not just wrestling wise, but even in life. Like what they've meant to you.
Oh, they're all my big brothers, man. Man, that's honestly, I met Xavier and Flint, and then I met Hakeem in Canada, and then Jake, and so I don't know. They all believed in me and saw something in me, and from that, they opened the door to me, and and ironic, we just had stuff in common, man. It was just kind of yeah, they believed in me when we started with a wrestling relationship, but then we're all into anime. Oh, we all work out. So we all have all this in common,
Yeah.
including just all pursuing our dreams, that it just it developed into a really close friendship with all of us. And yeah, I definitely consider them family. I can't thank Hakeem more, like for how much he's doing for me, and Jake. You know, just
Yeah.
really, yeah. I can't say enough, man. Honestly, I
Yeah.
can go on and on.
Yeah. So one thing that's always kind of been a question of mine since I first saw you, because the first match I actually saw you in was actually almost 3 years ago next month.
Mm.
It was you versus Dre Jacobs in my hometown of all places. Um,
Yes,
Rapid
my
Pro
I was.
Wrestling.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
You were going by Salem Ash at the time. Um,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
made you decide to change your name for
Uh,
wrestling?
Salem Ash is dead to me.
Okay, that's probably a good thing,
um,
right?
yeah. So basically, when I started, Xavier Justice from the PPW Developmental Center, he said, "How would you like to go by Salem Ash?" And I was like, "Well, it's easy." I feared that people wouldn't be able to pronounce my name, Karam. So, right.
It's so funny you say that because it was probably had to been a year ago. I was at one of Josh Raymond's IPW shows.
Uh-huh.
I think it was the outdoor water relay show, and like I kept hearing people say chanting your name, but they were saying Karam or Karam, and
Yes. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm like,
Yeah, and
no, like Karam actually, that's a name that like strikes heart into the fears of men. So
has a
like
ring to it.
pronounce it right. Come on.
Right. It's
So
not that hard. It really
no,
isn't.
no, it isn't.
Um, so yeah, Xavier Justice gave me the name Salem Ash, and I went with it. And then I had a serious knee injury that because I wasn't trained properly and everything, and not to throw anything. I was thrown in pretty quick, and
Yeah,
it's important to not be thrown in pretty quick and to
yeah,
learn and develop so you don't do the mistakes like that. So I got hurt, and then after that, I was like, you know what? When I come back, I was also afraid to express my heritage, my ethnicity, because I'm
yeah.
Arab, and there's a
Okay.
stigma in wrestling with Arabs. I
Yeah,
didn't want to be the the guy who does the camel clutch,
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that. So I really tried to hide that at first, and then I was like, you know what, I should be proud of it, and I should break that mold that they're trying to give. And so I was like, I'm just gonna go by Karam because I think it's a nice one name thing, and
yeah,
I was like, you know what, you're gonna remember it, and I'm gonna make sure you remember it because of what I do in this business.
yeah.
And then I actually have my name Karam in Arabic on my tights, if
Yep.
you can actually look at it. Yep,
Yeah.
and all that. So yeah, it was really that. I thought Salem Ash. It reminded me of the Salem witch trials too. So I had to dip.
Yeah, but no, I remember watching that match with you and Dre Jacobs, and I remember just being like, oh man, this guy is gonna be like he's gonna be something. And
Thank you.
I kind of and so my nephew, my 15-year-old nephew was with me, and like out of all the guys on the show, like he was like drawn to you the most.
Oh,
And,
that's cool.
yeah, and so I always give him like constant updates on how you're doing and stuff like that. And
Awesome. Yeah, yeah. I appreciate you always following up with AAW and Evolve. And honestly, when you told me I was going on the WWE Network, I didn't even know until you mentioned something to me. So I
what
appreciate that. It was a nice surprise figuring that out.
I actually want to talk about last summer because that. I mean, when I saw you on Evolve, I'm like, okay, this is going to be good. And so,
Yeah.
like, what was your experience like with Evolve?
Um, dude, I mean, Gabe believes in me a lot. I think still to this day we have contact. Just really just we created a relationship in that sense. And I always was thankful that even I was so green and new, he saw potential and he gave me a shot and he wanted to see me grow. And that was the most important thing for me was when I got involved. I was confident in myself. I flew myself down to Florida and did
Yeah,
the WWN recruitment camp, and then yeah, I had my tryout match before this live stream, And then they were just like, and Tommaso Ciampa was there and all that stuff. And he was just like, they were all giving me notes, and they're like, how long have you been working? And then at the time I told him, and really, because when I was Salem Ash, I wasn't trained. I wasn't anything. That was like 2 weeks into wrestling, and then I hurt myself, and I retrained, and I took a year to retrain and everything like that. That's why you didn't see me, you know? So really, I only was wrestling for like 6 months, 5 months. So I told them, I was like, about 5 months total. And they're just like, what? And they're just like, well, how old are you? And I was like, I'm 24, or 23 at the time. And then and they're just like, oh, yeah. And he was like, we're going to be in Detroit. We want you to come. We don't know if we're going to put you on yet, but we want you there. and it was a 3-day tryout. It was a 3-day camp. And so then the next day we had promos. And then I did a promo, and then just out of random, I connected it to Anthony Gutierrez's promo, the guy who I worked with. Yeah. And because he said something about he was the baddest man in the room. So I was spinning it. I was like, I'm the baddest man in the room, essentially, after we had to do a minute promo. And then after I called him out, it was like, you guys are wrestling in Detroit. So, and that was the start, man. And dude, every time the locker room's great. I loved it. I learned, they put me with Eddie Kingston for a little bit, and all that stuff. So super knowledgeable. I was thankful for that. I can't say anything negatively about Evolve, besides I'm bummed that they did get sold, and I do think I had a future there. So it was unfortunate that happened, them kind of getting bought out. But now I'm on the network, the same place I just watched Macho Man versus Jake the Snake. And and literally I'm a section under that, and I think that's just blows my mind.
And so I mean, do you still like? You said you worked with Eddie Kingston, and like when I saw that big tag match, I'm like, oh man, he is in there with a lot of experienced guys and guys that have all obviously been places. Do you still keep in contact with any of those guys?
No, not really. I knew them professionally. That's pretty much it. Eddie Kingston gave me notes. Every time I see Eddie Kingston, we always say, what's up, hi, and we're acquainted, and I respect everything he's done for this business and all that. And I wish I can pick his brain more, but they're doing big things right now. So, most of them a lot of Evolve guys got signed. And Eddie Kingston is now headlining AEW. So I wish, like I said, I wish I could pick their brain more, but they're doing their thing. So I'm watching on the TV and learning.
And so this year, AAW, you've had a major impact with Hakeem Zane. How would you describe your run in AAW so far?
Again, man, I really think that our storyline has a lot of depth, and even though with the pandemic it kind of altered a little bit, we still made an impact to, I think we're kind of one of the things that people are paying attention to most in AAW, just because of the thing we're expressing and what we're trying, like, listen, learn, and absorb our truth. There's meaning behind that, and again, it's kind of like Gabe. Danny Daniels, I think, believes a lot in me, and he put me with Hakeem specifically to learn and to grow by who I believe is probably the best in the independent scene right now. Hakeem Zane is, and I'm humbled and honored by that. So my run right there is amazing. They put me in a match with Jake, everything like that, and I'm doing it with my best friends there. So, and we're representing Michigan, I think, the best way. So I know Michigan can get a rep sometimes, and I think we're really breaking that mold and be like, no, look at this, we got a bunch of stars come from here, including Danhausen too. So all that.
So when it comes to Hakeem, obviously most fans who follow him follow Impact Wrestling. He's Rohit Raju, the X Division champion at the moment. I monitor social media a lot just to see what people are saying about Impact, because I love Impact personally myself because of the Michigan guys.
Hmm.
I know I have voiced this, but I'm not the only one that has voiced this. So what would your message be to fans who keep saying that you belong with Hakeem at Impact Wrestling?
Um, One, I agree. Uh, Two, when the time is right, and they got what they're doing over there, and when the time is right, and if they see that there, if they see our vision there, then they'll bring me in. And if they want to go a different direction with Rohit Raju, then they're gonna do that. I haven't really been in talks with them. I don't. I don't see it happening soon, to be honest with you. If
Yeah,
that's what people are expecting, I don't see it kind of happening
yeah,
right now. But again, I think we still have a lot of work to do in the independent scene right now, and I think we can make a big impact on that with AAW being one of the biggest companies in the Midwest. So
yeah.
I'm not in a rush to kind of look for. Would it be sweet? Absolutely. But I'm not in a rush right now. Like I said, with the short time I've been doing this, I like the way it's going. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, it would be awesome, and I want it to happen. But we'll see.
So speaking of Michigan, because you say you want to represent Michigan well, is there any maybe like two or three guys in Michigan that you have not worked with yet that you would like to work with?
That I have not worked with yet. That I would like to work with. Um, I would like to see me and Jason Page in a singles match. We worked a little bit before in Milwaukee in a fatal four-way. The stuff we had was really good, and I
Yeah,
think we can have a really good match. Um, I'm trying to think. I haven't really wrestled in the Michigan scene for too that much, to be honest with you.
yeah,
Uh, Verity, I mean, sorry, Logan, Dread King Logan.
yeah,
Yeah, I would want to work with Dread King Logan a little bit. We kind of touched each other a little bit in a multi-man match,
yeah,
and then honestly, man, I'll just say a person who I have worked with a few times, and it's probably my favorite person to work with, and it's Tommy Vendetta.
yeah,
um we just our chemistry is just very good, and I think we have a competitive edge with each other
yeah,
in a good way, to where we bring the best out of each other in matches, because we both want to, we both see each other in the same light. We both see each other as, legitimate in that sense. So when we're in the ring, we want to be better than each other, and it shows, and that's a good thing. And I think competition is lacking in
yeah.
wrestling, and we need more of that to make product better. So
Well, since you brought up Tommy Vendetta, if Josh Raymond is watching this, Independence Pro Wrestling,
yeah.
now you know who your next challenger can be.
Yes, yeah, and whoever, send them my way. I miss that promotion. I think IPW and holding a title for Josh Raymond's company is a big deal to me.
Yeah,
So when we talk about what's a legitimate title in Michigan, I want to say IPW's heavyweight championship is legitimate, because the person who's the promoter is a legitimate professional wrestler who has done things, and I love that. And so I hold myself in high regard holding that title and representing that company.
yeah, and so like, and and I also take pride in it too, um, because Western Michigan has never really gotten a good rap for
Right,
pro, and it hasn't been consistent. And before the pandemic hit, Josh was consistent. He was running every.
right.
So, like when people ask me like in West Michigan, like is wrestling coming back? I'm like, yeah, go down to Kalamazoo, check out Josh Raymond show, check out their
Yeah.
champ. Uh,
Yes, yes,
and
for sure.
so I mean, there's a few shows I didn't get to make, but I watched them after the fact, and my mind was blown, and I'm like, they're onto something down there, and with Josh's knowledge and
Hmm.
like he comes up with unique matchups that you don't see anywhere else. There's matches I've seen
Right.
in IPW that I've never seen on the east side of the state. So, um, so yeah, I can definitely see why you're, you know, proud to be their champion and, proud to work for
Yeah,
Josh,
absolutely.
because it's a
Mhm.
phenomenal promotion.
Yes, and I'm from Michigan, so I don't want to work a lot at the place where I'm from,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of I don't want to stay local too much. I'm very vocal about not being local, and wrestlers should go out of state and do all that. So when I do want to when I do wrestle in Michigan, it, I think it's a big deal, and that's why I will do Josh Raymond's always, and I'll be limited to that most of the time. So if anybody does want to see me in Michigan, it is IPW, it is that area.
Yeah.
You're not going to see me a lot in Metro Detroit.
Yeah. And I'm for one grateful as a person from West Michigan,
Yeah,
because, uh,
appreciate it.
like I said, there's a lot of people I've talked to in West Michigan that are just craving a local pro wrestling promotion that's done the right way.
Hmm.
So I definitely
Yeah.
respect the fact that you are loyal to that place and want to be there because, I mean, I'm like, for me as a paying customer, I'm driving an hour away to go watch a show. It's like I want to see the best, and you know,
Hmm.
Josh puts on the best every time. So um, that I'm happy about.
Right. Right.
So,
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
uh, speaking of people you want to face, I'm going to name a promotion, and then as I go down the list, you just name one guy that you want to work from each promotion.
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
Um,
That's fun.
AEW.
AEW. Okay. Who do I want to work with? Anybody?
Yeah, anybody.
Sonny Kiss.
Okay.
And Sonny Kiss. Eddie Kingston. Come on.
I know.
There's
I
so
know.
much,
I
you
know.
know. But Sonny
Uh,
Kiss, number one. I want to work with Sonny
okay. Impact Wrestling.
Kiss. Chris Bay.
Okay. NXT.
Kurt Stallion.
New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Oh, man. I don't know. Man, what are dude, to be honest, I'm kind of ignorant to New Japan. I don't watch as much as I should. What are some of the big names that are there right now?
Ooh, Kota Ibushi, Okada,
Yeah, let's go with Okada, of course.
Zack Sabre
So he
Jr.
could blow me up, and I'm just like the ring, kill me. Yeah.
Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor. Oh man, Danhausen.
Yep. Okay,
Yes,
that makes sense.
yes, of course. That would be
And
fun.
then the WWE main roster, Raw and SmackDown.
Oh man, I don't. Rey Mysterio, just because who wouldn't want to work with Rey
Yeah.
Mysterio?
Yep.
You know.
Yep. So the next thing I'm trying is I'm kind of trying this new feature when I'm interviewing people, because we always ask you the questions, and so
Yeah.
in the role reverse here. What pro wrestling question would you like to ask me?
I mean, what do you want to see in this post-pandemic era of wrestling? Obviously, it's hard for us, but I'm sure it's a little different for the fans who watch at home or even go to live events. And now you have a limited. What do you want to see more of? What can make it more entertaining for you? I guess that's would be an appropriate question because I want to know, right?
Well, for me, and I actually talked about this last night with another fan from Grand Rapids. I've noticed lately AEW has been bringing in the NWA Women's Champion, and has brought some NWA talents over. If they're really looking to um, like compete and really be a bigger alternative, collaborate with everybody. Collaborate with NWA. Collaborate with Impact Wrestling. Collaborate with the Ring of Honor. Try and get those egos out of the way, because there are guys in each one of those promotions that deserves national TV time. Like Jay Lethal, the fact that he's not on national television is just like very mind blowing to me as a consumer and as a fan of wrestling. And so like even Impact, like Eric Young, not a lot of people get access TV. And so like a guy like Eric Young, despite what happened in WWE, like he's another one that like deserves like national TV time.
For sure.
And I
Yeah.
like and I like what New Japan is doing with the Super J Cup, bringing in different guys from different
Builds
promotions.
opportunity. We just need wrestling. We need opportunities for sure.
So I gotta guess that would be my answer is like, if you're really trying to better the industry as a whole, collaborate and come together. Because that's just going to be better for everybody, and it's more exposure for everybody.
Cutting off.
So,
Gotcha. Cut off a little bit. I'm sorry about that.
That's all right. But yeah, no. So that would just be my answer to that question. But what would you like to see going forward? Now that we're thinking about it.
I think most promotions are doing the best they can. As far as like, I think live streams are going to be important. So, and that because the lack of fans and everything. So I think streaming and uploading to YouTube and all that stuff, we need to just do that. And I think over time we'll slowly get back to where we are. But right now, just kind of focus on social media is huge right now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
So just one of my final questions here is, why should fans and promoters invest in Karam?
I am the epitome of a professional wrestler, brother.
Yeah.
What do you mean? You look at me, you're gonna be like, "What do you do?" So I look, man. Not to toot my own horn, but I know I got an aura to me. I know I got a presence, and I know I'm made for TV. So, and I think promotions do know that. I mean, look what I've done, and look where I am in such a short amount of time. Yeah. So, invest in your product.
And where can people find you if they want to see what you're doing in the wrestling world?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. It's just like my full name, Karam Alami _. You'll find me right there. And then on Twitter, it's just Karam Pro _. Okay. And you can find me those two.
Okay. Any final thoughts before we wrap up?
No, man. Just follow me on the places that I told you to follow me at. And man, thank you for the time. I appreciate you giving me some sort of exposure and following me for a long time, man. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. And thank you again, Karam, for coming on. My name is Hollywood Joe from Hollywood's World of Sports. Obviously, be sure to check me out on my social media platforms. And remember, controversy doesn't come without criticism.